A loss this season. Tim Legler was talking about that earlier, including 3-0 this postseason. That .882 win percentage following a loss is the highest by any team since the 86-87 Lakers, who went on to win the title that season, by the way. OKC, a 3.5-point favorite tonight at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. And our Stephen A. Smith joining us now from Minneapolis. Stephen A., what are your expectations for SGA and the Thunder tonight after getting embarrassed in Game 3?
Well, they're going to play a lot better. They're going to play a lot more competitive because how much worse can you do? They were down by damn near 40 in the first half. It was awful. It was an abomination. We know this. But that happens in the playoffs sometimes. You take a night off. That's exactly what transpired. So if they simply show up and show that they have a pulse, they'll be better than what we saw in Game 3. I suspect they'll do that, and I think this game will be much more competitive than we saw last game.
All right, on the flip side, what is the key for Anthony Edwards and this Wolves team to even up this series tonight?
Well, he's got to continue to be aggressive just the way he was on both ends of the floor in Game 3. He has to be in attack mode because this team feeds off of him. He's the Ant-Man himself. He's a superstar in this game. He's a game changer, and we know what he brings to the table. You just got to do it. You can't just talk about it. You can't do it sporadically. You got to be a bit more consistent when you're going up against an elite team who's collectively big time defensively, and you got to show up and show out because when he does that, he opened the floor for Julius Randle. He got a guy like Shannon Jr. coming off the bench for the first time and scoring 9 points in just 4 minutes of play in the first half alone. You had a Nas Reed that couldn't buy a bucket, and all of a sudden he's hitting a couple of threes. The same could be said about DiVincenzo and others. And so this is what happens when Ant-Man gets going. Be physical, be aggressive on both ends of the floor, and let them know they're going to be in a dogfight. And when you do that, this team tends to feed off of it, and they did in Game 3.
Minnesota coming off a franchise playoff record, 72 points in the first half. Okay, Stephen A., let's talk about last night. Your Knicks got back in that series against the Pacers with their third 20-point comeback in these playoffs. So, my friend, what is your level of confidence as we head into Game 4 tomorrow night?
I think confidence is the wrong word. I've got a lot of hope. I won't say confident yet until they tie up this series. Remember, Jalen Brunson was in foul trouble throughout the game. He had 4 fouls in the first half. Karl-Anthony Towns had 4 points going into the fourth quarter before he exploded for 20 in that last quarter. When we look at the New York Knicks, a lot of things went their way. Nesmith getting hurt, going out. He's a guy that's been shadowing Jalen Brunson throughout this series. Losing him was a big-time loss, at least for the few minutes that he was gone. You got to take that into consideration. The New York Knicks hit 15 of 16 free throws in the fourth quarter, including 10 for 10 during clutch time and 6 for 6 in the last 20 seconds or so. You're absolutely sublime at the free throw line, but you weren't great against shooting from the field. That can't happen in Game 4. They got to hit shots. Halliburton, Nesmith, Nembhard, Turner, these guys, they ain't going to sit around and miss a bunch of shots like they did in Game 3. Indiana has struggled in Game 3 throughout the playoffs. Games 1 and 2 they've won. They've lost Game 3 every series, and then they've come back and won Games 4 and 5. The New York Knicks have to make sure they're not the latest example of the trend that the Indiana Pacers were struggling or, were benefiting from. So I would just tell you, I'm hopeful. They got that victory. You put them on their heels now. They need to win Game 4, but the New York Knicks needed more. I hope they answer the call. They cannot take this team for granted because Indiana can score. And when they score, they win.
Keep hope alive, Stephen A. Keep hope alive. I've heard that somewhere before. Yeah. We should use that. Yep. Stephen A. is going to join us, coming back with the countdown crew as soon as we're done here on SportsCenter. My brother, thank you so much.
No doubt.
Well, Stephen A. is hopeful for good reason. The Knicks coming back from down 20, third time this postseason. The Knicks have won after being down by 20 or more. They did it in Games 1 and 2 against the Celtics, conference semis. In the play-by-play era, going back to 98, they're the first team with 3 comeback wins from down 20 or more in a single postseason. Here's Tibbs today on his comeback kids.
The way the league is now with, with the pace and the three-point shooting, you can make up ground a lot faster. And, obviously you prefer to play, with a lead. But you see it all the time. Teams go on runs and they're hard to stop. And so you can never let your guard down. And you have to strive to play for 48 minutes. And we understand that. So I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, amazing how much the NBA has changed. The Knicks now, they're plus 180 to win the series at ESPN Sportsbook, while the Timberwolves are still heavy dogs to win their series at plus 600. Mike and Tony, they got more insights in tonight's PTI bonus topic. ESPN, the Timberwolves, coming off a 42-point win in Game 3. They're going to look to even up things in their Western Conference Finals series against the Thunder. NBA champ Kendrick Perkins joining us now from Minneapolis, looking resplendent in that yellow. Hey, let me ask you this, Perk. Minnesota, what can they do? What do they need to do to replicate that Game 3 performance in that blowout win in order to even up the series tonight?
Well, one, they got to protect their house, but two, it starts with their leader, and Anthony Edwards, the heart and soul of this team. And what he did was he set the tone not only offensively, but defensively. His energy was there. The physicality was there, right? The tenacity was there. It showed the athleticism, and the rest followed suit. All of a sudden, we saw guys getting down there and getting in the trenches. We see Big Rudy Gobert active on the screens, active hands, getting steals, the 9 entry passes, and they were able to get out in transition and get easy baskets. That's what the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to have to do tonight again against the Oklahoma City Thunder, is make them play on their heels all night long. Be the instigator and not the retaliator.
Yeah, man, he came out with all that energy in Game 3. And by the way, they held MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to that season-low 14 points. Now, let's talk about the East, right? The Knicks won Game 3. They trailed the series 2-1. Perk, who do you have more faith in heading into Game 4, Indiana or New York?
I feel like it's a change, energy shift right now, and I got a lot of faith in the New York Knicks. Tom Thibodeau, appreciate you finally trusting the others on your bench, right? We know what Josh Hart is going to bring to the table, and by the way, much credit to him because he is a winner. He's all in. That's the true definition of being all in. But I think with Shamit, Deuce McBride, and Wright brought to the table the 94 pickup defensively, fighting to get over screens. It gave that Knicks team life that they didn't believe that they had defensively, and now all of a sudden you see guys are engaged. You saw Karl Anthony Towns erupt for 20 in the fourth quarter, but he was also pretty damn good defensively in the fourth quarter. So now I'm looking at the Knicks, and I'm saying to myself, they got the momentum right now.
Ooh, okay. Knicks, by the way, they're 6-1 on the road this postseason. All of those 6 wins coming by 6 or fewer points, so they like to keep it close. Now, you mentioned Cat, all he did in Game 3, getting that 20 in the fourth quarter. Who else do you believe is going to step up in Game 4 and why?
Well, it got to be Big Body Brunson. He owed his team one. I thought he was horrible last night. I mean, he was 6 for 18 from the field, in foul trouble. He got to come out and he got to deliver. We know that Aaron Nesmith is not going to be 100%. We know that for sure if he plays, right? And Big Body Brunson got to take this one over. And I know he felt some type of way after the game. He's an all-in guy, but he knew he could have been better all of